You smiled at them. Again, you said yes. Again, you forgave the thing that should have ended it. Again, and somewhere in a room you'll never see, someone wrote your name down as easy, not weak, not stupid, easy. There's a difference. And that difference is going to cost you everything if you don't wake up in the next 30 minutes. Because right now, while you're reading this, while you're breathing normal, while your heart rate sits calm and steady, there's a version of you bleeding out slowly, not from a wound, from a habit. The habit of being good to people who are studying your goodness like a blueprint, learning exactly where to press, exactly when you'll fold, exactly how much guilt it takes to make you say yes one more time. You think your kindness is a virtue. They think it's a resource, and resources get extracted, drained, used until there's nothing left but the husk of a person who used to have boundaries. Let me tell you something that's going to feel like a slap, because it needs to. Your kindness, the way it's operating right now, is not saving anyone. It's not making the world softer. It's making you smaller. Every time you shrink to keep someone comfortable, you hand them a piece of your spine, and they don't even thank you for it. They just expect the next piece. That's how it starts. A friend cancels on you for the 5th time. You say, "It's fine." A partner dismisses what you feel. You say, "I understand." A boss takes credit for the thing that kept you up until 3 a.m. You say nothing at all. Each "it's fine" is a signature. You're signing a contract that says take more. I won't stop you. And somewhere down the line, maybe 6 months from now, maybe 6 years, you're going to wake up in a life that isn't yours. Surrounded by people who love the service you provide, not the person you are. And you'll ask yourself the question every conflict avoider eventually asks in the dark, alone, staring at a ceiling that offers no answers. When did I disappear? The answer is simple, and it's brutal. You disappeared the first time you chose their comfort over your own truth. You disappeared the first time you swallowed the words, "That hurt me," because you were terrified of being called dramatic, difficult, too much. You disappeared every single time you mistook silence for peace. Silence isn't peace. Silence is a debt. And debts don't vanish, they compound. Right now, somewhere in your life, there is a person who has never once heard you say no and mean it. Think about that. Sit in that discomfort for a second. A person who has built an entire understanding of who you are based on a version of you that never fights back. That's not a relationship. That's a hostage situation with better lighting. And the terrifying part, you built the cage yourself. Brick by brick, apology by apology. You called it being the bigger person. You called it not wanting drama. You called it loving people unconditionally. But nobody, and I mean nobody, should love you unconditionally more than you love yourself. The moment you flip that equation, you become a candle burning at both ends to keep other people warm while you freeze in the dark. Here's the part they don't want you to understand. The people who take advantage of kindness are not always cruel. That's the trap. If they were obviously cruel, you'd have left already. No, they're comfortable. They've simply never been given a reason to change, because you kept absorbing the cost of their behavior, so they never had to. Every excuse you made for them was a bill you paid on their behalf. And bills like that don't just take your money. They take your identity, slowly, silently, until the person staring back in the mirror is unrecognizable, polite, agreeable, endlessly patient, and completely hollow. You know that feeling. That specific exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep. The kind where you could nap for 12 hours and still wake up depleted. That's not tiredness. That's erosion. That's what happens when your entire nervous system has been trained to prioritize everyone's emotional temperature except your own. So let's talk about the pivot. The moment everything changes, because it's coming, whether you choose it or life forces it on you through heartbreak, betrayal, or burnout so severe it puts you flat on your back. There is a version of you that stops apologizing for having limits. There is a version of you whose no lands like a door slamming shut, final, cold, non-negotiable. There is a version of you that people will call different. Not because you got cruel, but because you stopped being available for exploitation. And here's the twist nobody prepares you for the moment you become that version. Some people will panic. They'll accuse you of changing, of becoming cold, of not being yourself anymore. What they mean is, you stop being useful to me the way you used to be. That reaction is not a red flag about you. It's a diagnostic tool. It tells you instantly who valued your presence and who valued your compliance. Watch closely who gets uncomfortable when you set a boundary. That discomfort is data. That discomfort tells you exactly who's been feeding off the parts of you that never fought back. Real ones don't flinch when you finally speak up. Real ones go quiet, then say, "You're right, I'm sorry." Fake ones go quiet, then go cold, because the game just ended, and they weren't ready to play fair. This is the moment your entire life either resets or repeats. Because kindness without boundaries isn't kindness. It's self-erasure wearing a nice outfit. Real kindness has teeth. Real kindness can say, "I care about you, and I still won't accept this." Real kindness protects the giver as fiercely as it protects the receiver. Anything less than that isn't kindness. It's fear, dressed up to look virtuous so you don't have to admit you're terrified of conflict. And you have been terrified. Let's stop pretending otherwise. Terrified that if you push back, they'll leave. Terrified that if you say what you actually feel, you'll be labeled difficult. Terrified that your worth is measured by how little inconvenience you cause other people. But here's the truth that's going to sit in your chest like a stone dropped into still water. The people who only stay around while you're convenient were never staying for you. They were staying for the supply. And the second the supply changes, the second you start requiring effort, respect, reciprocity, you'll find out in real time who is actually in your corner. This is where most people flinch. This is where most people retreat back into old patterns, because the short-term pain of disappointing someone feels worse than the long-term erosion of disappointing themselves. Don't be most people, because here's what's waiting on the other side of that fear. And it's not loneliness, it's not isolation, it's not becoming hard or bitter or closed off. It's precision. You stop giving pieces of yourself to everyone who asks. You start giving them only to the ones who've earned it. Your energy stops being a public utility and starts being a private currency. Rare, valuable, and finally respected the way it should have been respected all along. Picture that version of you. Calm, unshaken, says what they mean without flinching, doesn't over-explain, doesn't apologize for existing at full volume, doesn't shrink in rooms to make other people feel bigger. That person isn't cruel. That person is free. And freedom terrifies people who built their comfort on your compliance. Let them be terrified. Because every time you swallowed your anger to keep the peace, you were paying for a peace treaty the other side never signed. Every time you forgave something you never should have tolerated in the first place, you were teaching the universe what your limit actually was. And your limit kept shrinking and shrinking until it barely existed at all. That ends now. Not tomorrow. Not when things calm down. Now. Here's your new operating rule, and I want you to actually feel this one. Not just hear it. Your kindness is not a debt you owe to people who mistreat you. It is a gift you give to people who deserve it. The moment someone shows you, they'll exploit your patience, your softness, your endless benefit of the doubt. That's the moment the gift closes. Not with a scene, not with revenge. Just silence. Distance. A door that quietly shuts and never quite opens the same way again. You don't owe anyone access to the parts of you they never protected. Say that again in your head. Let it sit there. You don't owe anyone access to the parts of you they never protected. Because here's the cruel irony: nobody tells you the people who most need you to stay soft, agreeable, and endlessly forgiving are usually the ones benefiting the most from you staying small. And they will never, never be the ones to tell you to stop. Why would they? You're comfortable. You're convenient. You're the emotional labor they don't have to do themselves because you're doing it for both of you. So the wake-up call has to come from inside. It has to come from you, looking in a mirror at 2 a.m., exhausted in a way sleep can't fix, finally asking the only question that matters. How much longer am I going to let my goodness be the reason I keep losing? Not, how much longer will they take advantage? How much longer will you allow it? Because that's the real ownership. That's the real power. You cannot control who tries to exploit kindness. That's been happening since the beginning of time, and it will keep happening long after you're gone. But you can control the terms of access. You can control who gets the version of you that bends, and who only ever meets the version of you that stands. This is the discipline nobody talks about. Not gym discipline, not money discipline, emotional discipline. The discipline to disappoint people who were only comfortable because you never disappointed them before. The discipline to sit in the uncomfortable silence after you say no, instead of rushing to fill it with an apology. The discipline to watch someone get upset that you finally have limitsy, and not collapse under the weight of their disappointment. That discipline is the difference between the version of you that gets used for another decade and the version of you that finally gets respected. Respect is never given to the person who's always available. It's given to the person who has somewhere else to be, including inside their own boundaries. So here's what happens next. Not someday, starting today. You're going to catch yourself the next time you're about to say, "It's fine," when it's not fine, and you're going to pause. Just pause. That pause is the whole revolution. In that pause, you get to choose old pattern or new one. You're going to catch yourself the next time you're about to explain a decision that needed no explanation, and you're going to stop mid-sentence. Let the silence be uncomfortable. Let them sit in it. You're going to catch yourself the next time guilt tries to talk you into something your gut already said no to, and you're going to trust the gut, not the guilt, because guilt is not a moral compass. Guilt is a conditioned reflex, trained into you by every person who benefited from your compliance and called it your virtue. You are allowed to disappoint people. You are allowed to be inconvenient. You are allowed to choose yourself without narrating a defense for it. And the people who can't handle that version of you were never loving you. They were loving the reflection of themselves they saw in your endless accommodation. Let them go. Let them go quietly, without a speech, without a war, without giving them the performance of your pain as a final gift. They didn't earn your softness while you were together. They don't get to witness your strength on the way out either. Walk. Just walk. Cold. Steady. Done explaining. Because here's the final truth. The one that's going to follow you long after this video ends, sitting in the back of your mind like a blade you finally learned how to use. Kindness without boundaries doesn't just hurt you. It teaches the whole world that you can be taken from, endlessly, quietly, without consequence. But kindness with boundaries, kindness that knows exactly where it ends, that's not softness anymore. That's power wearing a calm face. That's the version of you they never saw coming. That's the version of you that stops bleeding out for people who never even noticed the wound. So ask yourself, right now, in this exact second, before you close this out and go back to a life that's been quietly costing you pieces of yourself for years. Who have you been kind to that never once deserved it? And what would your life look like the day you finally stopped?